Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll show you how to create a delicious and nutritious meal using the magic of air frying. Get ready to tantalize your taste buds as we whip up crispy air fried chicken paired with savory cabbage and asparagus, perfectly cooked rice, and mouth-watering sweet potatoes. Follow along as we guide you through each step and create a wholesome, satisfying dish. So first, starting off, as you guys can see, I am washing my chicken. Yes, I wash my chicken, draining it, and I believe I forgot to cut one of the chicken wing little wingette parts off, so I'm just going in and cutting that part off really quickly. Then I'm going to go in to start using my seasonings to season the chicken, and I really like McCormick's. I got my garlic powder, Old Bay seasoning, some garlic, butter, and herb seasoning. Then I'm going to mix the chicken all together. Mixy, rinse my hands. Then I'm going to grab the mustard, and I am going to just put a little bit of mustard into the chicken. And then also just a little bit of hot sauce, just for some little flavor, you know. Then I'm going to line the air fryer with some aluminum foil. I usually use between 3 or 4 sheets. I do get the individual sheets when I'm putting it in my air fryer. I'm going to spray it with some olive oil cooking spray. And then I'm going to begin to lay the chicken wings down in the air fryer. I don't mind if they are kind of stacked on top of each other. I'm going to show you guys a technique for making sure that the chicken is cooked thoroughly. So here I am putting the chicken in the air fryer. Yes, baby, we are getting ready to eat, okay? Put it on 400, and I usually put it about 35, maybe like 40 minutes. Chicken takes a minute to cook. So then I'm going to go in and use my rice cooker. I'm going to take the strainer right there, and I'm going to just pour a desired amount. I don't really measure anything when I'm in the kitchen. So if you ask for measurements, I ain't going to be able to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So then we take and we rinse our rice off really good. You know what I'm saying? I rinse it for a little. Then I go ahead and take the rice and put it in the rice cooker, and then I take and, just estimate how much water I need. I mean, I've been cooking for so long, I don't really use measurements. I just make sure that the water covers the rice, like right above it. And you see I'm pouring a little bit out of it. I didn't want too much. And it comes out perfect like every time. So then I'm going to put that inside of the rice cooker, put the top on it, and then I'm going to hit the button so that it can cook. Next, I'm going to go in and clean off these peppers and then start chopping up these peppers so that I can use them to put inside of the cabbage and the asparagus. So as you can see, I'm just chopping away. Then I'm going to put it in a container, and then I'm going to go in with a red onion and I'm going to chop that up. I didn't use the entire onion. I used like about one half and then half of the other half. So as you can see, I'm just taking my time, making sure that I'm not cutting my finger, okay? Because when you cut onions, that's like the time when you cut your finger on accident. So I've done it plenty of times. So just be careful with this part, making sure that you are not putting your fingers like right underneath of the blade. And once I cut down all of those onions, I'm going to put the onions in with the peppers, as you can see. Next, I'm going to take the cabbage and begin to cut the cabbage down into smaller pieces. I found that I like more large pieces for the cabbage, so I didn't cut the cabbage down too small because sometimes it just turns into mush. So as you can see, I'm rinsing the cabbage off, making sure it's nice and clean before I go in and begin to cook it. As you can see, I am shaking the air fryer so that the chicken is having an opportunity to cook evenly. Then we're back with the cabbage. Now we are covering up the cabbage. We put the cabbage in with the peppers. I'm turning it down a bit so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. Then I'm going to take my asparagus tips. Everybody in my house don't really like asparagus, but I do, and I've been on this whole health kick journey, so I just want to make sure I have enough delicious foods to eat. Cut the asparagus in half. It's already pre-washed in the bag, but I still rinse my asparagus just a little bit before I actually use it. So I don't know what I was doing here. I probably was just throwing something in the trash or something. I don't know. But back to check on the cabbage. So the cabbage is looking good. Give it a shaky, you know what I'm saying? Mix it around, baby. Yeah, we shaking whole pots and pans around here. We not using spoons and spatulas, okay? So next I'm going to rinse off those asparagus like I said I was going to do. Make sure that they're nice and clean. Even though they are pre-washed, I still clean them. I just don't clean them as thoroughly as I would if they weren't. So I go in and give that a quick mix, and then I drain it without trying to lose some of the asparagus, which I just made up for you know, my son asking for some. So then I'm going to spray this cooking pan with some cooking spray, the same olive oil cooking spray. I added some garlic and a little bit of butter. I also added a little bit of honey, but I'm not sure if I recorded that. Then I'm going to put those peppers and onions and get them to saute for just a little bit. Then I'm going to pour the asparagus over top. Y'all, I was making a big mess, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is or whatever. So with the asparagus, I just make sure that I got all of the onions and everything out of the cup because I don't want to waste anything. And then I just lightly saute the asparagus, what do you call them, spears or tips or whatever. I saute those with the peppers and the onions, and then I take a little bit of seasoning and make sure that I season up my asparagus. I don't like the asparagus like overly seasoned, and I don't like the asparagus kind of mushy. So I'm just checking in on the cabbage. It looks like the cabbage is just about done. I don't like my cabbage to be too overcooked because it kind of turns into a soup. Look at me just like knocking everything over like, girl, get it together, baby, okay? Let me move that out the way. So then I went into transfer my cabbage into like another container so that I can wash this, and I'm just pouring the juice out, and then I'm going to transfer it over into a container. And y'all, this cabbage was hot, okay? But it smelled good. It came out really good. So yeah, I cooked it just right. I don't like it too soggy, but I also don't like it too crunchy, unlike the asparagus, which I like really crunchy. So I had just enough to fit in the container, and I put the remainder in a container for my son for his school lunch. And I'm seasoning up my asparagus now and just letting it lightly saute. I believe I have it on like medium heat or whatever. I had it on high at first, but I just cut it down because I don't want it to burn. Adding some chicken bouillon to it just to give it some flavor. You know, I do not like bland food. And I just give these asparagus just like a couple of little, you know, stir arounds or whatever. I tasted a piece of it. It was still kind of crunchy, so I let it cook for a little while longer. And yeah, the asparagus also came out pretty good. The thing I like about the asparagus the most, it was super crunchy. So I definitely will be making this again. Just don't mind the big mess that I'm making, y'all. I think recording myself doing stuff is a little bit overwhelming, so I'll be making like big mistakes. But yeah, we're going to check on the chicken. The chicken looking good. Shaky. Chicken need to be shaked up. Keep shaking it. I like mine's kind of crispy, so we're just going to continue to let it cook. Now we're going to transfer the rice into a bowl so I can cook the rice. So I can clean the rice cooker. So I can cook the rice cooker. So I can clean the rice cooker. And I'm just transferring the rice over into a bowl. And I'm not a big rice person, but my children like rice. And my mom gave us like a 50-pound bag of rice from Costco's. So I usually try to incorporate it in a few of the meals because my kids really like it. I can do without rice and starches and potatoes and stuff like that. I don't really like those type of foods. But yeah, so we're just going to fill this up as far as it will go. And if there's anything left over, I'm going to put it for lunch tomorrow for myself and my son. We both pack lunches or whatever. So there is a little bit of rice leftover that does not fit in the bottom of the rice cooker. So I just close this up and then just off camera put the rice in the other container. So now we're moving on to the sweet potatoes. Yes, I already chopped up the sweet potatoes and washed them off. So I am putting that olive oil stick spray onto that same pan that I was using. As you can see, I'm washing off the potatoes again a second time, and I'm just going to lay them out flat on that pan or whatever. So these sweet potatoes actually turned out way better than I thought. There was a point in time when I could only eat sweet potatoes like if they were made with like brown sugar and a whole bunch of syrup and butter and all this unhealthy stuff. Now I just add a little bit of butter and then I will just put some seasonings and it tastes just fine. So yeah, I don't have to have all of that sugar like I used to because it's not healthy for me. And it's not fun going to the dentist and you're grown and you have a cavity and all that. So it's a lot to deal with, but you know, it's a hard job, but somebody got to do it. So I'm just seasoning up the potatoes. I believe I used some garlic and herb seasoning, and yeah, they looking real good. They looking nice and orange. Put them in the oven. So yeah, put them in the oven. And now I am going to line this container with some paper towels because I'm going to lay the cooked chicken on the paper towels in the container so that some of the excess oil will drain off of them. So these are air fried. Even though they're air fried, they do produce their own like oily substance or whatever. So I just made sure that I took the crispy ones out of the containers just so the other ones wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, get soft, the crispy ones. And then I ended up putting the chicken back in the air fryer, the parts that weren't cooked all the way. I put the back into the air fryer and yeah, I let that simmer, I let that sit. Then I almost had forgot about the sweet potatoes. So they were cooking on one side. I'm so glad that I caught them before they burnt. So I'm just taking a utensil and I'm just going to make sure that I flip the sweet potatoes over so that one side doesn't brown too much and end up burning. So I've been making sweet potatoes in an oven like this for a very long time. I mean, it was one point in time when I wouldn't even eat sweet potatoes if they weren't full of sugar. But the sweet potatoes are going to go back for a few minutes and then they will be ready. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a very delicious and nutritious meal to create. And look at that, y'all. I did that. Didn't I? Comment below. I did that, right?